Hello folks, today I'm going to be giving you my take on the Logitech MX Master 3 mouse. And in this video I'm going to be comparing this, which I picked up exactly a year ago, to the latest MX Master 3S, which I don't have, but I'll find some clips for comparison's sake. And I'll be closing this video off with whether or not I get this again, or the latest and greatest and more expensive MX Master 3S. And I'll be sharing an oversight that I made when buying this. Don't make the same silly mistake that I made. Actually, I feel like I'm kind of late to the game with this, as this here has already been out for I think 4 years, but I've only had it for 1 year so far, because I only started to hear about it only after big name YouTubers started popping up on how this was their go-to mouse and was kind of getting a label as a productivity beast device. Now looking at these, they're pretty much identical on the outside, but it's under the hood where you will start to see the differences between these two devices. And by the way, welcome to my channel, Sid's Hot Take. Let's get right into it. Now I do have some items that I'm going to be bringing up in this video, but these first three are the ones that I dig the most. For starters, and this has to probably be the most obvious of them all, the programmable buttons. I mean, just look at how many different buttons are on this mouse. I can count as many as 8 clickable points. And I know what you are thinking. This is starting to turn into a button overkill here. But once you realize how slick it is to program a button on your mouse to a task that you frequently do or that has a multi-button hotkey sequence, I tell you, this mouse will quickly grow on you like it has with me. Some of the buttons that I've customized are the volume buttons, because this is something that I'm continually adjusting on my Mac. And since on my Mac, I'm constantly taking screenshots and it's a 3-button hotkey combo, I programmed this button to take screenshots. So by clicking it, my Mac quickly goes into screenshot mode. The app that comes with this mouse makes it super intuitive to pretty much put any command to a button that you want. And my second favorite thing about this mouse is a Mag Speed scroll wheel. Now this may not matter to a lot of you, but to me it works really well and I use it all the time. I use this when I'm on my work website, and whenever I save my work, it always starts me at the top of the screen. Well, with this Mag wheel technology, I can give a quick flick of my finger and boom, I can quickly navigate to where I left off. And also here's unbox therapy, proving just how smooth the wheel really works.
This wheel it's like a ball bearing with a tiny little bit of friction to it. So satisfying, Will?
And this final one may seem kind of silly, but it's the way you charge it. Surprise, it's USB-C, but this matters to me because back when I used to charge my Magic Mouse, it reminded me of a turtle on its back. That must have been an early Monday morning Apple boardroom meeting idea. What were they thinking? But on the MX3, no more lightning. And the charging port is in the front of it, so charging it is a breeze. And I can even charge it while I'm using it, which won't take you long because Logitech says that with just 1 minute of charging, it will give you 3 hours of use. Now that's a little for a lot. And Logitech says that with one charge, you can get 70 days of use, but I have no idea if this is true because I have better things to do. These were my 3 favorite things about this mouse. The buttons that you can program, the scroll wheel, and the way you charge it. The rest of these following points are features that the latest MX Master 3S has that my mouse doesn't. The biggest one for me, I'm going to have to say hands down, is the sound of the buttons. Now, from watching YouTube reviews, I knew the latest 3S had quieter buttons, but I wasn't expecting such a gap in sound. I'm serious. Logitech says that the latest 3S mouse is 90% quieter than mine. Take a listen. And number 5, my mouse has a 4000 DPI sensor, but the latest 3S has double the DPI of 8000. Now I have no idea what DPI stands for, but from watching other videos, it just means that the latest version of mine will pretty much work on any surface. Logitech says even on the surface of the moon. Just checking to see if you're still listening. Seeing that I always use a mouse pad and I'm not using it on any kind of a glossy surface, this spec bump doesn't really matter much to me. And number 6, feel free to say thanks to me for putting this video together for you by clicking like and or subscribing, if you want. And finally, number 6, another really cool and useful feature about this mouse is that underneath it, you can have up to 3 different profiles for different devices. Now, as you can see, I also have this on my MX3 version, but I just wanted to slip it in here because I really think it's a great feature. This means that you can have one profile set up on your Mac, and then another one on your Windows laptop in another location, maybe a third one set up to be used on your iPad. This is a very useful and practical feature, and even though I could be using this feature on my iPad Pro or LG Gram laptop, I just don't use this feature. So this is pretty much my distilled take on the Logitech MX 3S mouse. And wrapping this up, just like all the other videos on my channel here, what tweaks would I like to see made to this product, and would I buy it again? Tweaks, honestly, I really can't think of any because this mouse is just way better than anything I've ever used before. And it's been a wide range of mice that I've used. Over the past several years, I've used the Magic Mouse, the Logitech Pebble Mouse, this Logitech mouse, and even a $5 mouse that I picked up at the dollar store one time when I was in a pinch. And lastly, would I buy this again? Well, I kind of have an embarrassing confession here. You see, when I picked this up a year ago, I didn't do all my homework, and seeing that I only use this mouse on my Mac, I should have gotten the Mac version of this, but I didn't even realize that there were 2 different versions for this mouse only after I started putting this video together. The difference here being that the Mac version only uses Bluetooth connectivity, and the non-Mac version uses Bluetooth and a USB dongle. This could explain why my buttons on my mouse are not doing what I programmed them to do and end up carrying out different actions when I boot up my Mac in the mornings, and the only way for me to fix it is for me to quickly put my Mac into sleep mode, and then it seems fine. And it seems to be happening a lot more than usual actually. Maybe if I had the Mac version it would help with this. If any of you guys have any input, you can let me know down in the comments please. And I didn't buy this brand new. I actually picked it for secondhand in mint condition just to save a few bucks. But seeing now that I'm working online and posting way more on YouTube, I kind of wish that I had have picked up the 3S instead, for the sole reason that the 3S has those stealthy sounding buttons, which would come in handy when I'm working online via Zoom and when I'm video editing in the mornings when the house is still quiet. And seeing that I'm not even using the Mac version of this on my Mac, I'm actually contemplating on whether or not to upgrade to the 3S. If I can swallow the price tag of 140 bucks over here in Korea, around 90 bucks in the US. I'll keep you posted. So my final thoughts. Now I did something with this purchase that I usually never do. I bought something that was already outdated. I really thought long and hard about whether or not to get the latest MX3S, and well, I decided to get the previous gen of the latest and greatest. I usually don't do this, as seeing how quickly technology seems to get outdated. I think the only other time I've done this is when I intentionally got the older JBL Pulse 4 speaker over the latest Pulse 5 for one specific reason. I'll make sure to have that thumbnail pop up at the end of this video just in case you want to check it out. So in final remarks, if you're using your mouse for any length of time and you want to negate any soreness in your hands such as carpal tunnel syndrome, then think about this because that carpal stuff is nothing to mess around with. But if the sound of these clicking buttons are not an issue for you, then you should be able to just pick up the MX3 for some pretty discounted prices. Just make sure to get the right one for your computer. And of course, I'll have all the links to anything that I mentioned in this video, so you can click on the link and it'll take you right over to Amazon. Oh, and here's that JBL speaker video that I was talking about earlier. And think about liking and subbing if you want. See ya.